left right away to Peebles. The ball is right there. Enough.
Second and 8. Up the middle. Back to throw. Firing one.
And Mac Jones underneath. Buletich is beat. And so is Derek Donald.
My name is Danny Peebles, and I'm from Raleigh, born and raised in Raleigh. Went to Ligon as a junior high, Broughton as a high school, NC State for college. Then I played at Tampa Bay and Cleveland in the NFL. So sports has been in my DNA from the beginning. So I played football, ran track at Broughton High School, accepted a football scholarship to NC State where I was a wide receiver and ran track for NC State. And, the Lord blessed me with athletic ability. So I was more of a speed receiver. I'm not a very big guy. But for when I played, I wasn't really too small at that time. Guys have gotten a lot bigger. But with my sports background came all the trappings of life, because as I moved from NC State and was blessed to be a second-round draft pick with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the money came with that, and opportunity comes with that. And I did, as the Bible says, I tried everything my heart desired to try, and got way off track because I grew up in a church, Davie Street Presbyterian Church, where my mother and grandparents were. And so I knew what I was doing, but I was way off the beaten path for a long time. And not proud of the things I did, but I am proud of who I am now as a result of the things I did and how God has moved in my life. But I play sports, and sports is still a big part of my life. My kids play sports. I coach sports. I'm around sports. I have a track team. I coach a football team. And at Kingdom Embassy Center, a lot of our youth are athletes. So, we're the DNA of who we are, competitors in sports and things of that nature. But I was a pretty decent athlete. I ran track again and played football, and was blessed again to be a second-round draft pick for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which was a unique experience.
Crumpler, the tailback. Bright, the junior from Brevard, to the first Preston Pogue at quarterback. He's going to pass on first down, shooting at the right sideline, and it's complete. Caught by Danny Peebles.
5-yard line. The only running back in position here is Sally. He's going deep. Peebles. Looking downfield. Now you'll see Peebles just outrun number 29, Greg Brown. The ball a little underthrown, but Peebles had Brown beat by 3 yards, and it's all the way for 6. My goodness.
How they handled that offense, the defensive set, which is something that Pitt uses commonly, may determine the outcome. The NC State offensive coaches were worried about that. Davenport to throw. It is complete to Peebles at the 40-yard line of Pitt. It's a first down.
You got to be impressed by this young man, Charles Davenport, the sophomore out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. Watch this. Quick drop, looks right, and then comes left right away to Peebles. And the ball is right there, and enough for the first down.
My football career ended on Sunday night ESPN. I was with the Cleveland Browns at the time, and we were playing then the Houston Oilers, so I'm dating myself as to how long ago I played, because they don't even exist anymore. But I was running a short route. It was third down, and I was a competitor, so I would jaw back and forth with guys, and I was coming across the middle, and Bubba McDowell, who actually ended his career playing with the Carolina Panthers, Bernie Kosar threw the ball, and my foot got caught in the turf, and my head dipped right before the ball came, and I saw a flash of blue. And before I hit the ground, I knew something was wrong because I was trying to put my arms down, but it hadn't sunk in yet just what had happened. It wasn't until I hit the ground, and Bubba McDowell hit me so hard that he had almost knocked himself out. So he was laying beside me, and I kept looking at my body thinking, well, how is his arm way over here on me? And it was at that moment that I realized that I couldn't feel anything from my neck down. So long story short, I fractured my third vertebra, was a quadriplegic from the neck down. 25 years old, had made my entire life off of sports. And that had been such a big part of my life. I had 2 small kids at the time, and I just wondered, what would my life be as a quadriplegic? And as you can imagine, when I laid on that field, and I say this now with joy in my heart, but almost with shame as well, I laid on the field and I said, God, if you just get me up off this ground, I promise you I'll serve you and live right. And of course, as soon as I was able to get up off the ground, he kept his end of the bargain and I didn't keep mine. But ultimately, I came back to where I was supposed to be. But it was a traumatic experience to be a quadriplegic. So when I see guys have neck injuries now, I can truly appreciate the trauma and the fear that may be going through them at that time.
Looking at second down and 6. They're at the Pittsburgh 14-yard line. Davenport on the pitch, reverse to Peebles. Peebles picking up yards at the 10. Touchdown, NC State.
How did I go from being a quadriplegic to being fully functional? Really, and I'm not saying this because of the position I hold now, but it was the grace of God. Because I got hurt the same day that Mike Utley got hurt. He got hurt in a 1 o'clock game, and I got hurt that night at the 8 o'clock ESPN game. And when I was on the way to the hospital in the ambulance, they said, "Don't you realize another guy was paralyzed today?" And at the time, that's not what I needed to hear anyway. But he's still paralyzed from the chest down, and I'm fully functional. So I say it's only by the grace of God, because they didn't know if I would be able to walk again or not walk again because of the injury I had. Luckily, my spinal column fractured outward, but it smashed my spinal cord. And they don't know how much nerve will wake up, if it'll wake up or not. And then the bottom line is that they were going to drill me for the halo to put around my head. And the only part of my body I can feel, and they can't totally numb you when they do that. And the nurse asked me every day they'd ask me to wiggle my toes. And she asked me to wiggle my toes, and evidently my toes moved slightly. So the feeling came back from my sole of my feet up is how it worked itself up my body. But I could move before I could feel. So I used to break a ton of dishes because I would have to physically look at things when I would pick it up because I couldn't feel it yet. So I would pick something up instinctively and then turn my head, and all of a sudden it would drop out of my hand. But the recovery was long and painful. I didn't have to have surgery, again, by the grace of God. But if you've ever had the feeling where you slept on your arm all night or for a long period of time and you get that big, heavy, numb arm or those pins and needles, that's how my entire body felt for months. So for me to move from the sofa and go to the bathroom a lot of times would be a feat, because I felt like I weighed about a ton. And then I could not wear a shirt for a while because as my nerves woke up, it felt like I was on fire. So I couldn't put a shirt or anything on for a good bit of time. But again, it was all by the grace of God, because when I got hurt, they couldn't tell me whether I would be able to walk again or not. And unless I told this story, nobody would know that I've been through what I've been through.
The All-ACC center for the Wolfpack. Now the Pack has 4 wide receivers, 2 right, 2 left. Pogue back to throw. 2nd and 8, up the middle. Caught by Peebles at the 30. He's to the 35. Now that was a great catch. That pass was a little open. And they are really got the crowd doing the same thing. All right, it's 1st and 10 for the Clemson 47. Montgomery back to throw. Firing one left sideline's wide open. Peebles at the 35, out of bounds.
The state starts. It's 32 down in the ball game for the first time. 3-0. Bobby Crumpler and Mal Crite are the backs. Crite the fullback. Preston Pogue to throw. The pass is complete. Danny Peebles, and Peebles up to the 45-yard line. State is 1 of 4 on 3rd downs. This is 3rd and 5. Preston Pogue. For Peebles. Touchdown, North Carolina State. Danny Peebles.
That Dan Vuletic has a tendency to play up tight from the free safety spot. Here's a 4-2 guy, Danny Peebles, running a post pattern. They had Mac Jones underneath. Vuletic is beat, and so is Derek Donald. Derek Donald, though, was expecting help deep from Dan Vuletic. He didn't have it. Nice throw, good protection by the...
We ask that you join us at Kingdom Embassy Center, a place where you'll be inspired and empowered to be made whole in Jesus Christ. We want you to be challenged every time you come with the very question that he asked, Yeshua asked the man at the pool of Bethesda. He had been in a condition for 38 long years. And Jesus walked up to him and asked him one question that we all have to answer to get the freedom we all desire. He asked him one thing. He said, do you really want to be made whole? If you want to be made whole in Jesus Christ, in Yeshua, Kingdom Embassy Center is a place that you'll be made whole in Yeshua, Jesus the Christ.